Hey folks, it's Guy here, how you doing? Welcome back to Estancia Lapacho here in Paraguay. Now then, I just very quickly want to do my weekly random event. We had what it ended up being, iSugar6 and iSugar1, so we got machine breakdown, a tractor or loader has broken down and cannot be used this week. Randomly select. So I've got the tractors and loaders here. And I've ignored the car there. I've actually included the man truck because I felt that that one was such a useful machine on the farm. We ought to include that one in the list. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We ignore the car. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I'm including the 325T as well. I know that, although actually technically the man truck is leased as well. So yeah, I've included all of those. So we got 10 different vehicles, and I did random number 1 to 10 on Google, and it came back with a 2. So this Stara right here, we'll go to it. We will enter it. This one we are not able to use this week. It has broken down. We are not able to use it. Now, I was wondering if maybe we should say that when we've got this breakdown thing happen, we should also include anything that it's attached to, because, you know, if the machine's completely broke down. But then I thought, well, no, that's not actually all that realistic, because, you know, 9 times out of 10 if a vehicle breaks down, you would be able to find a way. If you really needed the machine that was on the back of it, you would find a way to be able to do it. So we're not going to worry about saying that we can't use the plough, should we want to, although we're not actually going to want to use the plough. So we need to move this one. We're going to just put that one down there, and we're going to take the plough off. There we go. Right, the plough is off, and I'm going to move this one. So all we've done is essentially we've sort of rolled this one. We've freewheeled this one over. Oh, it doesn't actually fit in the shed. Not quite. Okay, we'll park it here then. Right, that tractor is unable to be used this week. It's actually one of our bigger tractors as well, which is a bit of a shame, but we should be able to cope without it. But we're not allowed to use it this week. That is the rule. We're not allowed to touch it. We're not allowed to use it. So that one is out of the equation. So, what else are we going to do this week? Now, we've got this bad boy right here that we want to use. We want to get right down across the map over there, and we want to we're going to set up a straight line all the way down across, and there are a few trees down that end that we want to do something with as well. So we may be doing that. But before we do that, though, we're going to want to go back through here to our truck, if I can find it. And we're going to get the rest of the logs cleared off the field. There's not actually very many left, so it's not going to take very... Why have you stopped? Why did he stop? I'm not actually sure why he stopped. I hope he's not breaking down or something. Anyway, we just want to get the rest of the logs picked up off of the field here. We'll stick them in a heap down the bottom, and then we're done with the logs. Now, we can either sort of carry on doing some of the stump grinding and stuff, or we can get going with... Oops. Right, there are stumps everywhere here, which is going to make it a little bit more tricky to get around. So we do have to be a little bit careful of that. We're going to have to, at some point, start moving all of the what are called, the wood chips. So I'm trying to decide what I should use for doing the wood chips with, and I have an idea. I have the perfect mod in store for this one. It's something that I've used quite a lot in the time-lapse series, but I don't know if I've actually used it at all in the normal series. So I'm just trying to think. I'm sure I know I've used it at least once, but I don't know if I've used it more than that. It's going to be interesting. But we'll bring that one up here, and we're going to use that one to do the rest of this stuff up here. See that tiny little log there? I don't know if that one's even big enough to be picked up by see, I can pick it up by hand. I don't know if it's even big enough to be picked up by the auto-load feature on the trailer. But what I can do is I can just dump it in there like that. There. So we can put that one in by hand, and then we will head up here, and we'll start grabbing some of these. I hope. There we go. There's one. Get a few more. See, it can be difficult to get them lined up, to get the actual active bit, and you don't have an indication to show where that active piece is, which is a little bit of a shame. It does make it quite difficult sometimes. I'd like to have like a little visual on the ground to show where it's actually selecting the logs from. It would you'd be able to see what you were doing. It would make it so much easier to see what you were doing. So we're going to get this last lot. I wonder if I can get all of these on. I might be able to. Sometimes you can pile them up really, really high. If they land in just the right way, you can stack them right up. That's not stacking up so well, though, is it? So if I need to change side. I can't remember which one it is. No, it's O to change side. So we go change side like that, and then I press B to load it up again. And it's just going to keep falling until it sort of gets right, or eventually gives up and it stops. It switches the auto load off. So I'm going to switch the auto load off, and then I'm going to put the straps back on like that. Perfect. And we have another load of logs. So let me just drag these over down that end, and then we can come back over here. I think we've got maybe one more load. That's going to be about it. And then I'd like to mark out the rest of the field using that stump grinder. And we're also going to, I've been told that I can use the stump grinder to actually cut the trees down as well. So the last couple of trees that are going to be in our way down here, I would actually like to use a stump grinder. I'm just going to chop them down where they are, and I'm just going to shred them up. We're not going to bother using them. Bring this lot over here so they're ready to dump. We go like that, and then we press... No, I pressed the wrong button. What do I want to press done? Oh, start auto load? No. Start unload is Z. I keep pressing X to start the unload. Definitely the wrong button. Right, so we do that. Unload them all there into a great big heap, and we're away again. There's half a load. I reckon we'll get all... Wait, yeah, there's only a few down here. I thought there were more than that down this end, but there's not, so this is going to be really, really quick. Chuck those on there. I think that's all of the logs down this end, yes, by the look of it. So we'll turn the auto load off. I'm not going to bother even putting the straps on for this one. We'll whiz over, unload this one. My question that I asked you all last week was, we have pigs on the map. We have them there ready, but we haven't done anything with them yet. We're going to activate the pigs later on. Well, basically, we'll just start putting food and stuff into them. And so what I was asking was, when do you want me to start on the pigs? Do you want me to start on them very soon and sort of start doing those alongside the cows? Because I realise we haven't done anything to the cows yet, and the original plan was to do stuff with the cows first and then move on to the pigs. So I said, did you want me to start doing the pigs straight away, or stick to our original plan and leave them until after we've done quite a bit with the cows? I had 1,015 people answer the question, 337 said get going with the pigs immediately, and 678, about double, said leave the pigs, come back to them later on, stick with your original plan. So we're going to come back to the pigs later. We're not going to do them yet, and we're going to continue on. What we're going to do is we've got to finish building this field up here, and then we've got a harvest to do. And so what I'm thinking of is, we've got this huge, great big field of corn down here. This is all maize, corn, whatever you want to call it, down here. Then we've got a load of beans up here. We've got some cereals around here, and then we've got sugarcane in the middle. Once we've harvested all of this lot, if we run all this to the harvest, the next time round, we're going to put beans in these fields here. We're going to put corn up here after the beans, and down here we're going to put cereals. So beans will go over here, corn up here, and then cereal down here. I'll probably just do barley or wheat in that great big field down there. So my question is, I'm going to be doing some silage at the biogas plant very soon. Now, we're just going to go and take a visit to the biogas plant very quickly a minute. So this one here, to tip, you actually just tip it down into here, so we could use a trailer to do this, which is going to be a little bit different to normal. You've got these huge, great big long clamps in here. We got 4 of them all together. There's quite a lot here. And this is the biogas plant. So my question is, do you want me... I'm planning to do whole crop silage. I was thinking that we wouldn't actually use the corn. We would leave the corn and we would just harvest that normally. What we haven't done yet is whole crop silage. So I could either whole crop these fields over here and drag them all the way over. We'll probably have to go down this way, out onto the road, and then back up, because we've ploughed over the road here that goes to the biogas plant, so we'd have to go sort of all the way round. Do you want me to do it with this coming harvest, or do you want me to wait until the following harvest, and then we can do our silage, our whole crop silage, in the big field here, which is right next to the biogas plant? So we can either do it in the upcoming harvest and do silage fairly soon, or we can wait a season and then do it with what we plant down in this huge, great big field down here. So it's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. Would you like me to do whole crop silage in the next harvest with those fields just over there, or do you want me to wait and do it with a huge great big field down the bottom? Now then, is the auto load still running now that I've stopped and I moved away? Yes, it is. You've actually got to physically turn the auto load off for it to stop running, or change the sides on the trailer. That stops it as well. So we'll just bring those up through, and we've got one there. I think there is, yeah, there is a little one in the bushes. I thought there was. I was right. It doesn't happen very often. It's a wonderful feeling being right. It really is. It's quite a fascinating sort of thing. It's not something that's familiar to me on a regular basis. Oh, okay, that one's way too far out on the back, because this is what happens if you drive too quickly. I'll show you. I'm going to demonstrate this on here. We'll go fairly quickly next to this log here and see how it comes right out the back like that. That is awful. But I think that's actually the very last one. So if we turn off the auto load and we put the straps over the load, it would help if I press the right button. There we go. Straps are on the load. We now have that one log sticking right at the back, and I don't think there are any more logs here on the map ready to pick up, so we can just go and whiz these over, and then we're going to go and get on that stump grinder, and we're going to start chugging up across the field. There is one other thing that we need to do before we do that, though. We do need to go and get our sprayer running again, I think. Yes, we do. We've lost half a field over there, where the beans have become ripe. But the rest of it, I'm pretty sure we do actually have to put some spray on. We'll check the map in a minute. I can't remember now. Let that unload. Very, very good. You can see that even though it was loaded sort of quite crooked, when it unloads, it actually straightens itself out, and it always unloads into the same spot. Which is really useful if you want to unload onto a train or a log sell point or something like that. It's not going to throw them all over the place. It will put them in the right spot. So let's just very quickly look here. Where is my sprayer now? That one right there. We also want to check, not growth, we want to check this. Right, so we've got... Yeah, we do need to put something on here. Well, that's 2 layers on there. Oops, I keep going the wrong way. Growth, right. I don't know if we've actually sprayed or not. I'm genuinely not sure where we are with the situation with spraying. I think I do need to just go back up and we'll put some stuff onto those. We'll find out like that. Oh, I'm right over here. So I must have already been spraying, but why have I ended up at this? How have I ended up over here? Why am I on this bit? This makes no sense that I would be out there in that field like that. That has left me genuinely confused as to why I'm over there. That really doesn't make any sense at all. Because I don't own the field, and there's a little strip there. Oh, unless I came up alongside that one and I turned it turned me the wrong way or something? That might have been it. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm going to set it going here. I've still got 800 litres of fertilizer on board, so I can set that one going, and he is fertilizing. Right, that one can go. He can do his thing, and he will be fine. We got more there. We don't actually need that trailer, so we'll be okay. And we want to do this. This is the next task that we want to do. We want to line this up. We've got to get the edge of the field. Now, the edge of the field along the top is going to be natural. This line up through here is going to be the only one that is actually using the GPS mod. We're going to do that. Come down through. Right. So we're looking up through there. There are definitely some trees that are going to be taken out with this. So we're going to go onto here, and I'm just going to go. How do we do this? Next door slot? No. No. So if I go 90, yeah, that is actually right. We want to do it like that. And I've got the working width is 3.1 meters. So we can set that one going like that. And that's about it. That's all I need to worry about. So then I need to actually worry about what the controls are for this one, because I can't remember now. So I'm just going to run that one backwards. Right, he has straightened himself up again. That's all right. So we can just bring that one up to about that point there. I want to turn on the stump cutter. And if I zoom in a little bit, we then want to enable the plow like that. And we want to allow create fields like that. We'll take those controls off. I'm going to leave the other one on. Actually, no, we can just cover that one up for a minute. I'll lower that one down until it's reached the field now. Just Just lower it a little bit and we can start forward. It's grinding. It's doing everything that it's supposed to do. We're just going to have to go slowly going up to that one, but it does all right, and then it immediately deletes that as well. Oh, there's another stump there. It's the one thing, we are going to have to go slow with the stumps, but it is working. It's actually going through, it's taking it out, it's cutting through all of this thick underbrush as well. This is, I just love this. I so love the way that it does this. It's just so cool. And that one's coming through. This is brilliant. It's properly going right the way through. It's just hacking right the way through it without any problems at all. Is there a stump in here that we're going to come up to? Yes, there is a stump there. And that stump is just outside of our range. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to swing over. Actually, I'm going to take it off of Allow Create Fields a minute. And I'll bring the grinder in. We grind that one up. And we'll lower it down again so that we can get the next bit. Like that. Come on, tree. You can do this. Right. So I've taken it off. I took it off of the Allow Create Field. So we're not creating the fields at the moment. But what it will do is it will still delete the sawdust. And it will still sort of work over the area that we're on there. So now I can get to this point here. And then I can go Control W and it will put me back on the straight and narrow again. Like that. Now let's zoom in a little bit and we'll take a look at this one. This one's got to be in the ground for this one to work properly. Well, technically it does work while it's above the ground, but this is supposed to be realism. So I've now activated the Create Fields again, so it will allow us to carry on doing this. Excellent. And we are away up across the map once more. Now, there's another stump just coming up here that we're going to we're going to have to do the same thing too. It's not going to, no, it's not going to allow us to get it. So we'll do that. We'll do the exact same again. We're going to take off the Allow Create Fields. And then I can just drive off of the, what do you call it there? The GPS mod. GPS, I can allow the GPS to be disabled just while I do this bit. So we come into there. You do need to lift it up. You've actually got to sort of lift it up and move it around a bit in order to get the stumps properly by the look of it. Well, at times anyway. If the stumps are a little bit higher. So we can just come in like this and we can come over the top of it. We got one of the small palms there as well that we want to take out. So we're going to remove that one. We'll take this whole lot out. We've taken both of those out. We've taken the stump and the palm tree. I'm going to go over the little bit of sawdust that's left because you can get lag issues on a map if you've got these little piles left all over the place. I don't tend to have issues with lag with my setup. I do have quite a powerful PC, as I mentioned before, but I know I'm absolutely planning to release this map when we finish this series to everybody else. So I'm going to try to limit the amount of like sawdust and stuff that we leave lying around so that nobody gets any issues when they load up the save game. So we've allowed the create of the fields again. And we're off up through. So there's a stump over there that I think we ought to just take a break from. So we'll stop the creating of the fields. And I'll move back round and I'll go over to that one. And I will take out the stump. And I'll take out that little pile of sawdust as well. Get rid of the whole lot. Keep it all neat and tidy. Chew everything up and mash it up and then spread it into the ground. So we just want, it's just that little stump there. If it will take it out. Sometimes stumps can be really, really awkward. They just don't want to grind up through. And it doesn't matter what machine you're using, they're just really tricky. We might have to just angle this one around a little bit more. If we can angle it down a bit more, maybe that will work a bit. I have been asked by a couple of people now if, you know the huge, great big pink blossom tree that is in the middle of our driveway, right down here. It's the pride and joy of Estancia Lapacho. It's absolutely beautiful. It is a wonderful, wonderful tree to look at. I've been asked by a few people if I could, if it would be alright, if nobody minds, could I chop that tree down, just to see if we can. So what I decided to do, and the suggestion was we do it towards the end of the series, because it's a really magnificent tree, and we don't want to lose it before then. So what I'm going to do is on the very last episode, I'll probably need you to remind me, but on the very last episode, I will cut that tree down. We will do whatever it takes to get rid of that tree. Now, several people have said you can't cut it at the base. So what you've got to do is you've actually got to go and you've got to cut it higher up, and you've sort of got to work through it. So I think it would be an interesting challenge to try to remove the tree. I'll remove the save game file the episode before, so that it's not going to be gone on anybody's save game file when they get the save game. And we'll then be able to go and chop the tree down, see how it works. It's just going to be a really cool thing to sort of try out before we end up leaving the map for good. We're just going to carry on a little bit further. So those trees over there turned out that they're not going to be in the way. I thought they might have been, but it turns out that they're not, so we don't need to worry about them. We've got one stump here that we are going to have to stop and take care of. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to turn off the allow create fields a minute, but we're going to go and we're going to grab this bad boy right here, and we are going to start it up, and we're going to go flying back to the farm, and we're going to reload it with fertilizer. Then we're going to come back up here, we're going to carry on spraying these fields so that they've all got sufficient fertilizer before the end of the growing season. I really don't want them to be starved of fertilizer. I would like all of my crops to grow and to blossom and to produce lots and lots and lots of fine quality crop. So I will just whiz this one down through. I haven't forgotten about putting up the sheds. I haven't forgotten that at all. We definitely need to put up sheds. The only issue is I don't currently have a huge amount of money. No! Oh my goodness me! I can't believe I have done this. I am so sorry. I've been getting so much better at this. We're on kilometers, and we're using dollars here. I don't think that you use dollars in Paraguay, but we're going to use dollars here anyway because it's the only currency we got. I'm really sorry. I really do apologize. I've been getting a lot better at that lately, at not like either realizing right at the beginning of the episode or not having the wrong currency and distance and everything in there at all. And I've utterly failed you this time, so I apologize. I deeply apologize. Very, very sincere, and I do actually mean it. And yes, I'm giving you a sincere apology that I actually mean. I know. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought that such a thing would ever have occurred? Now, let me just get this loaded up. I'll get him back up in the field, and then we can go back to our stump grinder, and we can carry on doing that. As soon as we've marked once up across the field, I'm thinking we'll take a little break from that, and we'll skip over, because I don't want to just do the same thing for the entire episode. I know that quite a lot of people do get a little bit you get a bit fed up with just me doing one single task for an entire episode. So I do like to try and spread it around a bit, and we've got all of those wood chips to move, so I'm going to make a start on moving the wood chips as well today. So let me just get this one going, and then we can finish doing the grinding, and then we should be able to go and get the trailers up ready for the wood chips. Right then, we can start this bad boy back up again, and am I still on... Well, it doesn't matter if I am. What I want to do is... Right, allow create fields has been taken off momentarily, so we just want to get rid of this stump here, which was easy. We don't actually need to worry about the sawdust very much. And then if I go Control W, that actually lines it back up again very, very quickly. And it does it really easily and very, very quickly with this skid steer. I'm quite surprised at just how well it seems to operate using it. So we can go whizzing up through here, and you can move really, really fast with this mod. The ploughing, I'm ploughing at 14 kilometers an hour. Now, I don't know what the actual speed is for a plough. I don't actually remember. But I'm thinking this is pretty impressive. This is pretty impressive. So we come up through here. Now, I would like to remove that palm tree right there, this small tree, that palm tree, and the palm tree right in front of us. I can get past that small tree just, but the palm tree here is definitely in the way. Now, I have been told that it is possible to remove them. You do have to sort of angle them a little bit. So let's see how well this works. You tilt it back like that, and then it will chop the whole tree has just been utterly decimated with this machine. And that was pretty instant as well. A lot of people telling me that palm tree wood is not actually very good. It's very soft, very spongy, and it's not really used for a great deal. You do get a lot of palm plantations. Mostly they're used for palm oil. And yeah, I've sort of seen palm oil plantations, and it's used for all kinds of things. There are all sorts of ecological issues with the use of palm oil, so I'm not going to sort of go into that in great detail now. It's a big issue around the world, and it is causing problems around the world, the whole palm oil thing. So people are looking for alternatives to palm oil, but at the moment we don't really have any. So yeah, it's still going. That bit aside, oh, I've got it's still a stump here. There's still a stump. I need to. Where is that stump? At least I thought there was. Nope, there isn't a stump. I've already removed it. Right. So we want to take out this palm tree over here. Get that one down. There we go. Chop that one down. And this stump grinder is fantastic. I mean, yes, the only downside to this one is, unlike the Big Daddy that leaves piles of wood chips and everything everywhere, this one grinds everything up. So you lose the whole lot with this particular stump grinder. However, it's very, very quick. So if you just want to get rid of the trees and you're not in the least bit concerned about getting all of the wood chips and everything back, this is definitely the way to go. Look at this thing. It's an absolute beast. Savage. It's absolutely creaming through this. It is going through it in absolutely no problems whatsoever. This is amazing. I'm genuinely impressed with this thing. I'm sort of getting that impressed that I would like to go and play around with it a little bit more, rather than going and getting started with moving some of the wood chips. Right, it's just this tree over here. This is the last one that I want to remove, and then we can just very quickly finish marking out this field just on this end. We're not going to bother going all the way around, not until a bit later on, but we do want to just finish slicing this one down through. There we go. And just slowly work our way down through it like this. Let's bring that one forward. You know what I'd really like to see added into this game is Sago. Now, I don't know if anybody... I'm sure that some of you have heard of Sago pudding. And I worked in a factory for quite a long time. And before I started working there, they actually used to do Sago milk pudding in tins. And, yeah, it was a reasonable seller. But then there was the tsunami more than a decade ago now. And the main world supply of Sago was, I think... Well, it was affected. I don't actually remember where it was. There was a big tsunami and it went through and it destroyed the plantations. And I was in the factory. I was at work. And I had there was a manager who came into the area that I was working in. And he was busy talking about the different products that they do to this group of visitors. And talking about Sago and how that the tsunami had gone through and it had decimated the area that produces them, and so they weren't able to get the seeds anymore. And he was busy saying how that the Sago cereal was not able to be used anymore, and it couldn't do anything. There was nothing that could be done about it. It absolutely decimated the seed supplies, and so they just weren't able to grow it anymore. Listening to this to me was painful. And there's probably one or two people right now going, "What? Hang on a minute, did you just say seeds? Did you just say cereal? Sago cereal? Did I honestly just hear you say that?" Yes, you did. He said Sago cereal, okay? Him, not me. Let's just point that out. It was him that said this, not me. Sago is not a cereal. Sago comes from the sago palm. There is a palm tree, a sago palm tree. And when I lived in New Guinea, what they used to do there is, basically the sago tree, they cut it down, and then they hollow out the trunk, and they wash it, and they rinse it, and they remove all of the fibers, and they just take the sort of the fine grain stuff that comes out of it, and it sort of forms like it's like a starchy mix. And that is sago. Sago comes from palm trees. Now, I didn't actually realize until I started working at this place that sago trees are produced. It was grown commercially. Huge, great big sale. Why am I walking all the way when I couldn't just do this? It was this huge, great big commercial operation growing the sago trees and sago palms, and it would produce all of these, all of the sago, and then it would sort of be shipped around the world and used for sago pudding and stuff like that. Tsunami came through, utterly decimated the plantations, and so the sago palms were no more. I don't know if they're recovering anywhere in the world. I absolutely don't know if it's if they're once again being grown on a commercial basis or not. That's one thing I'm not sure about. So, number one, if anybody lives in a part of the world where sago is grown on a large scale, please let me know. I would love to find out a bit more about it now, and whether it's still being grown or whether it's been sort of scrapped altogether. And also, I would very much like to know how it's done commercially. I never looked into it. This is one thing I generally go on YouTube, just go onto YouTube and I look up how all of these different crops are harvested commercially. And I've never actually done that with Sago, so I'm not going to yet. I'm going to wait until after a few people have explained to me, and then I'll go and take a look. So is your chance now is to demonstrate your knowledge to me. I would love to find out just what is involved with commercial Sago farming, and whether or not you think anybody has actually been involved with commercial Sago farming, whether or not you think it would be a viable option in this game, whether you think that we could actually have commercial Sago farming in this game. And we've got sugarcane farming now, so we've definitely got like the stuff for the right climate. I think it'd be so cool if we could add that into the game as well. It's just that I don't know what's involved with it. So yeah, anybody that's ever had anything to do with it, or knows anything about it, or knows anybody who knows something about it, you know what I mean. You get the idea. Fill me in. Let's have some details. What's involved with it? Could it happen or not? What do you think? If I go about there, I reckon that'll be about right. So now we need to run through the bush here, and is that's in the wrong place. It was close. It was close, but it's definitely not letting me hitch that one, is it? Right. Let's have another little look around. So where have I got to go? I don't think it actually lets me hitch this on with the whilst in cab, even though I've got the manual attaching mod, but I'm not sure how close I've got to be to manually attach. Let's take a look. So, oh, there it is. I've seen the little symbol come up. Right, we've got that one. We're going to put the wood chips into these bad boys right here. We're going to load them both up with wood chips, and we're going to use it. I mustn't forget that I got the roller hidden down there. I could very easily smack into that one if I'm driving around like this. I'm going to take these up to the top of the map. We have very nearly run out of time for today's episode, so we're not actually going to be able to sell any wood chips. But we will be able to take these up to the top of the map, and we'll be able to get at least like make a start trying to load them up. And then we can also take a look at the machine that I'm going to be using for loading. I did think that maybe we could use the Merlot and just shovel it in, just sort of, you know, just keep constantly spooning the stuff in, but I didn't really want to do that because it's quite a small spoon compared to the size of the pile of wood chips that we got down there. So then I thought, well, what else have we got in the game? We got conveyors. We could use conveyor belts. Now, conveyor belts work really, really well. We could use conveyor belts, and that would be all tickety-boo and hunky-dory and wonderful, and it would actually work really well. And I thought, you know what? We've used conveyor belts before. Conveyor belts are slow. You've got to keep constantly moving them around, and that's difficult. I don't want to do any of the above because it's difficult and it's hard work and it takes ages. So let's go for an easier option. And then I thought, well, there is that one machine that I was just talking about previously. I know I'm about to drive over the beans. Just ignore this. Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes, people. Nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. And right, so you can look again now. We'll come on through here and get this one lined up onto this field here. Ish. It's close enough. That is close enough. We got work to do. We got loads more stuff that we need to do. I need to get to this one right here. So yes, the conveyor belts, they're really slow and they take ages to load up, and then you've got to keep moving them around, and it takes ages to move them around, and eventually it just gets tedious. I didn't really want to do that. I'm not after tedium today. So I thought, well, let's go for something a little bit quicker. We don't have... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's not in that section. Is it? It might be under here, under miscellaneous, or miscellaneous, if you wish to pronounce it correctly. There we go. It's this one right here, the milling machine. Now, there'll be a link for this one in the description down below. This one will pick up everything. This is an absolute beast. So we can buy it for $5,000 or we can lease it for $400. I'm going to buy this one because I'm going to be using this one instead of using a conveyor belt for the duration of this series. Orange. We're going to go for orange. Everything is being done in orange. I apologize if you don't like the orange. Somebody actually said it was, oh, I remember now, as the bearded one. Guy called the bearded one. He was also the guy that said I need to take a look at the toolboxes around and just see if those are the ones that are actually giving us, if we can use them to repair. And it turns out, unfortunately, that Giants have not added that into the base game on this map. We've got to do it, we've got to do it the normal way. And there is a mod that you can add in for the toolboxes, though. Right, so we just put that one on there, and we take that. So, yes, the bearded one He also said that he thinks that these machines painted in orange, especially the, and I actually have to say that I think it also applies to this one right here, look very much like they've come straight from the game of Borderlands. Now, I don't know about anybody else. I personally have played Borderlands 2. I never played the original, but I have played Borderlands 2. Not all. I haven't finished it. I sort of played partway through, and I got distracted by some pretty colours from somewhere else, and so I was playing that instead. It happens a lot. There are very, very few games on my PC that I've actually completed. I generally get partway through a game, and then I get distracted and I move on to another one. I will go back to Borderlands at some point. It's a shooter game. It's sort of a first-person, second, third-person shooter with bright, colourful graphics. Kind of along the vein of Fortnite, but slightly darker and a slightly higher age rating. So, yeah, the graphics of these are very reminiscent of Borderlands. And I would have to agree. I would say that, yes, you are right there. These graphics are very similar. You look at these, and it does look like something's been taken straight out of Borderlands. And so I've said that I think that would be a very cool game to play. Borderlands mixed in with Farming Simulator. You can do your farming and so on and so forth, but you've also got to carry a gun around in the cab with you to defend against marauding monsters and nasty things. That would be such a cool game to play. I genuinely would love to play that game. You've got all kinds of nasty monsters that are coming after you. So wherever you are when you're doing your farming, you have to have a gun in the cab with you. So you can leap out and you can do your thing, you do your Rambo thing, and then you can jump back in the tractor and you carry on harvesting your grain. Or you're planting your grain, sorry, if you'd be in a combine if you were harvesting your grain. Come on, Frith, you are a farmer, Frith, you ought to know the difference between a tractor and a combine, for goodness sake. Right, we don't have time for anything else this, I was going to say this week, but today. Tomorrow we will carry on with this, and all you got to do with this one is you just got to line it up like that, and when you're not near a trailer, I'll show you a minute, if we just back up, and you'll stop hearing the whine. You can hear it is constantly whining when it's doing anything. But if you... Oh, no. I know that people have told me that I actually need to... and how to change that as well. So, yeah, people have been screaming at the screen at me. We need to back up a little bit further in order to get away from the... You've got to be a fair distance away from any trailer trigger in order to get this to work. Type in... unfold milling machine. Or it might be because we haven't unfolded it. So you've got to unfold it. It just moves the... basically, all it's doing is it just moves these bits out here like this. There, that's unfolded. So we got that, and now we have some options to move the spout. You can, if you move it up and down like that, it moves the spout up and down there. And then if you use the other button, it will do this. But you notice it just flicked really hard. When you're doing this in manual mode, you cannot have it pointing forward. You can. It takes a long time to move it round as well. But you can move it as far as there. That is as far as it will go. I do need to do that. I will do it. That's as far as it will go, so it's just slightly more than forwards. It won't point the stuff forward in manual mode, but as soon as you get near any trailer trigger, or any sort of tip trigger, I think it's a trailer trigger. I think it will also do the same with a bucket. It then starts moving, and you can hear it whining almost continuously whenever you're moving. It very rarely actually stops whining. You can't override this at all. You cannot override it. It automatically goes for the nearest trailer if there is a trailer nearby. So just keep that in mind when you're using it. So let's start this one up. Just like that. Lower it down, and it will just pick up anything that is nearby, and it will chuck it straight into the nearest trailer. Just like that. It works wonderfully, this thing. It is absolutely brilliant. It does not have, though, a large onboard capacity like the Brux Chipper. The Brux Chipper will hold 55,000 litres. This one, it says 95% full right now, which is as full as it can get. So let's just go over, and well, I haven't actually tested how much it holds. 2571. That is 2571 in there. So now if I roll backwards and we'll let it empty out, you can see in the top left-hand corner that it's saying 95% full. It's now empty. So we were on 2571. Let's just very quickly go in here. We're now on 2666. So 571 up to, so 71 up to 66 is, well, 66 and 29 is 86, 95. It's literally 100 litres. That should have been a lot easier for me to figure out. That was painfully slow. Right, we're not going to worry about all of the little bits around. We're just going to move that, and we're going to head over this way. We're going to put this one next to the huge, great big heap of wood chips up here so that is ready to start loading. So that is the machine that we're going to use for loading all of our wood chips. It's absolutely brilliant. It works really well. We're not going to worry about picking everything up around here. I could go and increase the onboard capacity to it and then just go around and pick up all of the wood chips, but I don't really want to because a machine like this wouldn't have a large capacity normally, and this is the realistic series. So I would like to do this reasonably realistically. So, yeah, for that reason, I don't want to interfere with it. It's not on Mod Hub, this one. This one is a non-Mod Hub mod. So let me just lower that one down. And he's ready to go. That is it. So that is the milling machine. I love this thing. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Let me just switch that one off a minute. I'm not going to worry about that for a second. I'm going to go up here and look at the sprayer. I am also going to just see if he's left that corner again. He's left the corner again. Let's go and deal with that corner a minute. We can at least get 2 coats onto that corner. It's because of the way that the sprayer operates and the way that it thinks. Come on. Can do this. Turn. Gonna wallop. Oh no, it missed the tree trunk. Yeah, we come up here and it's about this point, isn't it? A little bit further. A little bit further, and is it going to be about here? Helper F has completed their task. Helper C has completed their task. Alright, let's start. I'm going to start this one up manually, and I'm going to start driving forward. And I guarantee you he's going to say that he's completed his task. No matter how far we get. Right, it's definitely spraying now. Oh no, it's doing it. It's actually doing it. Fantastic. We've made some progress. So yes, my question for this week is, do you want me to do the whole crop silage very, very soon? And whole crop the fields of cereal that we got over there. So it'll be the wheat, the barley, and the canola. We'll do all 3 of them. The ones that we got over there, and then take it all the way over to the biogas plant? Or would you rather I waited until the next season that we do here? So we'll do all of the harvesting, and we'll plant again, and then we will do the whole crop. So we can either do it with the fields that we've got up here, these up around here, or we can wait a season, and then we can use this field down here and just whole crop that one instead. So it's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. Do we do whole crop very soon up here, or do we wait until we can do the great big field down the bottom? Right, you have finished. Yes, you have. You have finished. So we're going to just take this one over to the next field and we're going to start it in there, but I don't know if it has enough fertilizer on board to finish that one. We shall have to see. But anyway, that's all I got time for today. So if you enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.